Hi, I'm Christine Cushing, and welcome to my quarantine kitchen, where we make some fun, easy recipes. Today could not be more easy and more fun. Who's ready for a little kitchen improv? Frittata with whatever I have in my fridge. Great for breakfast, lunch, dinner, any time of day. I love frittata. So first thing I'm going to do, starting on the stovetop, is render some bacon. Again, this is about what you have in your kitchen and fridge right now, not necessarily what I'm using, because to be honest with you, I don't even know what I'm going to use. I have this stuff. We'll see which of the ingredients I actually use. So I like to render the bacon first off because I like to get rid of some of that animal fat, and I'm going to add some olive oil to it. My oven right now is preset. I go between 350 and 375, depends on what's happening. There's a little bit of a difference. 6 eggs, how's that for a little family frittata? But really you can make it as large as you want. So 6 fresh eggs with the fewest amount of shells, if you can manage that. Sometimes there's more shells than other times. Not very good at basketball today, so I'm doing my best. I got good little sizzle on my bacon. And I'm going to set those eggs aside. They will be whisked later on, cleaning as much as I can manage as we work here. This is really a free-flowing, almost like really we're shooting this live, so it's what's happening in my kitchen. You're seeing it all. And I love the frittata because, which just basically in Italian means fried. So this is an Italian open-faced omelette. The difference is that it finishes in the oven. So you make it in a pan and you keep it there, and you can put so many beautiful ingredients. And to me, the beauty of it is it turns into essentially a meal in the pan. You make a little salad on the side, and that's all that we're after. So while this bacon renders, I can prepare the rest of my ingredients that I'm going to add. And I said, I'm not really sure what I'm going to add. I pulled some stuff out of the fridge that I have, and I'm going to start slicing. I had some green onions that were not looking their best. Trying to make the most of everything these days, always, but these days especially. So I'm slicing green onions. Any kind of onion is great, a shallot, onion, cooking onion. Because really for me, you gotta have an onion, some form of an onion in your frittata. Good little sizzle happening there on the bacon. This is a little bit different to a Spanish tortilla, which is again an omelet, but the tortilla is very classic in the sense that it has lots of olive oil and generally potatoes, sometimes onions, little smoked paprika. That's also good too. Maybe I'll make that one day. Spanish tortilla, which is like an omelet, not the flour tortilla. So let me show you here what's happening. And why am I rendering this? Look at how much fat is already in this pan from the bacon. A lot of people just say, well, cook it all and then cook your eggs, but that's just too much fat in there, right? So I like to render it down and remove that fat before I get to my next phase. Just gonna do it here, turning this down a bit. So for me, the improv kitchen is about still keeping those techniques sound, but working with what you have. You got sausage, that would be amazing. You don't want to add any meat to it, also very good, because this is a great vegetarian dinner, lunch, breakfast, and it can be totally customized. Okay, look what I'm talking about there. You see that? Just wiping here before I go back in. Now, lots of good stuff is going to happen in this pan. I'm going to add some of my green onions because I want them just to start caramelizing a bit. And then I had one potato left in my root cellar, not really a cellar, but one potato. So what I'm doing with this one is, again to improvise, I'm going to shred the potato and cook it with the bacon and green onions. Now the reason that I do that is because if I just put the potato in raw, either diced or however I slice it, it's going to take a fair bit of time to cook. So I'm trying to really kind of keep everything cooking at the same rate, so everything is going to cook at the same time. If you like chunks of potato, you can just blanch the potato maybe for 5 or 10 minutes in water and then dice it and then put it in here. But really I'm going for the easiest route today. Potato going in. Right away, potatoes, bacon, and onions. I mean, hello. How can that not be great, right? I don't know if you're going to be impressed today, but I'm working on my cleaning and cooking skills. My husband is going to be super impressed with that. All right, let's see what's happening in here. Oh, incredible aroma. Now that I've taken most of that bacon fat or that pork fat out, now I'm going to go in with some extra virgin olive oil. And that's going to replace my animal fat. It's something that I do often. It's a great way to kind of reduce that saturated fat. You can't even imagine how great this smells. Look at that. Oh, so fantastic. I'm going to go easy on the salt because the bacon is a little bit salty. I'm just going to season my eggs, and I think that's going to be enough. Going in with a little bit of cracked black in layers. First here, then in the eggs. Now let's see what else I have here. Again, I'm not really sure where I was going to go with this, but here, I'm going to grate, shall I grate? I'm going to dice. I'm going to dice a zucchini. See, I'm not really sure where I'm going. I had this sort of little piece of zucchini left, so why not use it? And for me, eggs and zucchini are fantastic. So I like them to have a little bit of texture. I don't need to make it, shredded. Although I was going to shred it. Now that's going to go in. Oh, look at those potatoes sizzle. Zucchini going in. What else shall we put in there? I had some beautiful asparagus that's, again, coming to the end of its road here. So I picked the base. See that? Those look great. And I'm going to put a few of these right in. So for me, this is a beautiful spring vegetable frittata. Whatever you have, whatever you like, throw it in. Incredible flavors already happening here. A touch of seasoning because I put the asparagus and the zucchini in. A little bit more cracked black pepper. Aromas, fantastic. I also had just a bit of spinach left. This was the baby pre-washed spinach that I wanted to save. This is a good way to save it. And let me just show you here, just because at any time of year, I feel that we're wasting so much food. So here's what my spinach looks like. There's a difference between spinach that's bruised and spinach that's rotten. So here, this is just bruised. It's going to wilt down, so I want to save it and use it. Right? I think we tend to just chuck things. Ooh, that guy wanted to go in there. We tend to chuck things so much sooner, prematurely than we should. So I washed this thoroughly, discarded any leaves that looked, spoiled, but a few of them are bruised now. And I'm going to throw in some baby spinach. Right away, this is so spring-like, this whole frittata, what's happening in here. Look at that. So here now I just want to let all of these veggies, potatoes, beautiful ingredients cook a little bit before I add the eggs to it. I'm saving some of that green onion to sprinkle on top just to have a bit more of a raw spiciness and texture. Shall we get back to our eggs? So a little bit of salt in the eggs, again, not too much. And here I'm going to go in with a whisk. I don't know if you've seen my French omelette video, but the classic French omelette, the way I learned it, is you always whisk with just a fork, because you don't want to whisk any air into it. Here, this is a frittata. It's going to cook in the oven. It's going to puff up and kind of collapse a bit. So it's okay to go in with a whisk. That's why I do it. A little bit of cracked black pepper. And again, I'm always cooking with all my senses. I hear what's happening. I smell what's happening. You always want to be aware of that. What else can I put in there? I think I'm going to put in a little bit of freshly chopped parsley, which I have in my freezer. Come and have a look at this. I mean, seriously, look how beautiful this is. The potatoes. Does that not look like the base of something you really want to taste? Look at it. Aromas off the charts. Off the charts. I can't even tell you. How am I doing on my clean station, huh? Do I get a 8.5? It's pretty good. I'm really messy, but my food tastes good. All right, stay there. I'm coming in with some chopped, what do you feel like, parsley or dill? Let's go in with some parsley. A little bit of parsley here on my veggies, potato mixture. And I'm going to also add some to the eggs. Did I show you this? I think I've shown you this before, but this is what I do when I buy my herbs. Look at that. And just make sure I squeeze out the moisture, chop it up, and put it in the freezer. And then you, boom, you just have fresh herbs ready a la minute. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm still here. Beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about what else. I had a piece of just literally a little blob of goat cheese. So I'm going to add that to it because I don't want to waste it. And the goat cheese is going to give a nice creaminess, a little tang on the end. So I'm going to add that. For me, a frittata, some kind of cheese. I'm going in with some Beemster. This is like an aged Gouda. Love this cheese. But, you know, in your kitchen, whatever cheese you have, it's cheddar, it's ricotta, it's whatever cheese you have. Just nothing too crazy like gorgonzola or blue cheese. I wouldn't put in for this. But, you know, any other cheese, go for it. Oh, wow, look at the colors on that. So what am I looking for here before I add my eggs? I want a little texture on these veggies. I don't want to cook them down too much. So I think this is looking pretty good. I'm going to now turn down the temperature a little bit, and I'm going to pour in my eggs. Let me make sure I added everything. Yes, I did. Okay, those are going to go in. So I'm just going to sprinkle evenly. Well, when I say sprinkle, it's pretty soft, this cheese, so try and break it up evenly. So when you cut it, you've got equal bites. Everybody gets a little bite of the goat cheese because that's tangy, like that. And what I like to do is I like to shred the other cheese on top because it's going to give me a nice kind of golden crust. But really, the possibilities are endless here. So a melty cheese just going in on the top, hopefully more in the pan than not. I'm going to do a little bit here to distribute it properly. Now this is going to caramelize, but I want to make sure I get it all evenly around, like that. Oh, yes. for sure. All right, so now my oven is preheated. If you go at a higher temperature, so 375, which I have, it's gonna puff up and get color a lot more quickly. Maybe you can keep the inside a little bit more tender if you want it. Lower temperature, it's gonna take a little bit longer and it'll be just a bit drier, so it's totally up to you. Ready? Going in the oven. Okay, 8 minutes, 375. Check out what's happening to this frittata. There's a little bit of puffing. There's a little bit of golden action. So that's what happens when it's high temperature and then it starts to cook from underneath. It puffs up a little bit, but I like to take it out still. It's cooked pretty much in the center. If you want it a little bit softer, you just take it out earlier. I gotta let it rest for a few minutes before we taste. Okay, cool down just a slight bit. I'm just gonna slide it out of here just so I can show you what this looks like. Fantastic. So shall we go in there for a little wedge? You see it's fully cooked, but it is tender, right? It's not dry. The key is for it not to be dry. Now let me show you. Oh, this is gonna be a good cross section. Look at all those beautiful ingredients in there. Lots of veggies, which I love. A little bit of cheese, some steam. Crazy good. Okay, I think I deserve a little piece of that, don't you think, after that work? Super easy, very fast. I mean, lightning fast. I make a little salad. I'm good to go. Oh, the aroma is just so great. It's still a little bit hot, but I'm going to go for it. I'm a daredevil. If I tell you, it's halfway between an omelette, a quiche, and a Spanish tortilla. Everything is so great. And then there's a little bit of, like, am I eating baked potato with bacon on it? So beautiful and just absolutely simple. You can make use of anything that you have in your fridge. Try my frittata. Thank you for joining me in the quarantine kitchen for a little fast improv. I always love doing these kind of quick improv dishes. Be well. I hope everything's good in your kitchen. And thumbs up, like, share. Please join me again very soon in the quarantine kitchen. See ya.